everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope some of you are out there listening. I know some of you will have to go to work today. And if you do, just concentrate on love. Love your coworkers, even if it's difficult, and your boss. And not in a romantic way, of course. But Valentine's is not only about romance, it's about love. Loving, like I said in a past episode, not only your lover, but also your family, your friends, and yourself, and also other people who are neither of those, like coworkers or strangers, even at a store. Like I have said before, I believe to my core that love is the answer, and we're here just to learn to love each other. So, I have told you that Valentine's is my favorite holiday, and I don't know if that's entirely true because I guess it shares that spot with New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Because I don't know which is number one, but I love both. I mean, New Year's Eve is an actual holiday. Valentine's not a real holiday necessarily, but you know, the topic is definitely my favorite topic for holiday. Yeah, that's it. That just came to me. So I should tell you, I woke up real early and I was going to go podcast. I Last night in bed I wrote a poem, and I have told you before, if you've listened before, that I love writing poems before I go to bed. And literally, as I'm in the bed, I'll bring a paper and a pen and write a poem very quickly. And that has been the best method for me doing this daily and for me having enough poems, because I've learned, and I tell this a lot, I will continue to say this because I hope that eventually some people out there who are trying to do what I'm doing will listen and be able to actually use these tips. The best time to write poems is when you're really sleepy, and that is obviously right before you fall asleep and right as you wake up. So I've been taking advantage of those two times, and that's why at this point I'm like, if you compare yesterday's rant to today's episode, you will notice the difference. And it's because yesterday it was during the day, I was working, and it was on break time. Work is like this: work, work, work. On my feet, running around, all awake, all there, all in. I don't know how to explain it necessarily. And my speech gets just like that. I had not even had any coffee, but I'm speaking fast and I'm like going on a row. While now my speech is very relaxed and calm, and this is very slow. So I'm sure you can notice a difference if you listen to both episodes. How I sound when I just woke up, like right now. And that is one disadvantage, that my voice is kind of tired, but the poems are so good that is absolutely worth it. So, first of all, let me tell you what I've been doing for Valentine's to celebrate. So, I did a 30 love poem challenge. Now, I missed a few days when I went on vacation. I went on vacation in February, no, in January, and I missed a few days from podcasting. I want to do this every day, but while I was at home, I was not able to wake up early enough to podcast without my kids. So, I mean, after that, I even let the kids be on the podcast because I cannot miss a day. So, I missed a few days, so I was behind in the podcast. I started the challenge I talked about it on the 14th of January. And technically, it should have started on the 15th of January, but I missed a few days there, so I was behind in the 30-day love poem challenge. So the idea of the challenge is that you will love one of the love poems and dedicate it to the love of your life on his or her Valentine's Day card or however you would like. And of course, if you do, let me know which, because that way I can write more similar to it, since I know that you already like it or somebody already likes it. So obviously I knew I was behind, but I knew that I was going to complete it. So I had not even counted how many poems I had. I was going to do that yesterday, but yesterday was a crazy day. I was filling out my taxes and stuff, boring things like that. And so that like took everything, all the time and everything. And so I couldn't. But today, this morning, but I did write a poem in bed. And let me tell you how I did, because I did not have a paper or a pen. I was in the bed and a poem starts coming and I'm like, holy cow, I have to write this down really fast. Otherwise, it'll literally go, you guys. It'll escape. It's happened to me many times. And I hope that those poems will come back. I keep on telling myself that they will come back one day. They're still in there somewhere. In my head, that's in there. So, so the way that I wrote it was, I didn't write it. I grabbed my husband's phone and then I texted it to myself. So then this morning I woke up and I woke up earlier than 3:35, which is what time my alarm was gonna go off, and that's because I went to sleep so early yesterday after the taxes drained me. But so then I grabbed my phone to do my one poem episode, and what I was gonna do is then I was gonna make sure to do that one episode to make sure that I do my daily episode. That's number one, most important. And then I was gonna count all my love poems and see how many I was missing from the challenge, and I was gonna write all those today. Well, yeah, that's how we do things here. And then I was gonna come on and podcast all those, but I have done something better, and that is I woke up today, and by the way, guys, if you hear any noises or whatnot, I'm still in the bed. Yes, I did not get up. No, I did not. It was going to be very, very hard to get up, so I said, why get up? I'll just do it on my phone. So here's what I did that was even better. Since I was in the bed, having trouble getting out of it, I decided to go count how many love poems I had. So I actually have 20 love poems from the 30 poem challenge. Now it's early and I could make mistakes counting. It's great for writing, great for not for speaking. It's not great for speaking, I have to give it to you, so forgive me. But it's amazing for creativity. Being sleeping is great for creativity. It's not good for math. So I'm gonna count these poems later on when I'm awake again to make sure that I did not make a mistake, because I do want to ensure that I have 30 love poems, 30 love/Valentine poems up until today. So obviously it is only 4:51, so I have the rest of the day. So if I'm missing a poem, let's say, I can come on later on in writing a poem. It will be very simple. And then I could even do it at night when I'm done with my day, which I have a full day plan ahead of me. And at night, I'll have a personal party. So maybe during that time, that fun time, I can write a poem. So anyways, I grabbed the phone this morning to read that one poem, and after I counted the poems, I was like, shoot, I only need 10 poems, let me just write them. So right then and there, I just texted myself one poem in Spanish, because I'm gonna go on to my Spanish podcast after this to say happy Valentine's to everybody, and then I am going to read you all these 10 poems in English, and that will be the end of my 30-day or my 30 poem challenge for Valentine's, which is great. This is great. So this is episode 48. Episode 49, we're gonna talk about love and Valentine's still, because episode 49 either might be tonight or this afternoon or tomorrow morning, and I'm still gonna be in the mood for love. So, and then and like I said, episode 50 is coming, and that's a milestone, a really good, important number. So, I think I'm gonna do my next life poem on episode 50. So, I know some of you are gonna be excited. We will still talk about love here and there in February, because February is the month of love, and we're still only mid-February. So we will talk about love, but it'll be back and forth. Very quickly, I'm going to tell you what's coming on this podcast and my life. So what's coming is the Love and Life Poetry audiobook. That is correct. I will be publishing a book, and I'm going to start with the audiobook because now I'm an audio expert, which I'm not. But I know that if I wait until I'm an audio expert, I will never publish. Therefore, I know now, I have learned by experience that you go do things before you're ready. That's when you start things. So because I'm not ready, I'm going to start. And that is my logic for the day. So I'm going to start first with the very first poem. Let me see. I did not give you a name. So I'm going to choose a name real quickly. This is the one that I texted myself last night as I was going to sleep. Let's see. Shoot. I'm not gonna give it a name. Let's call it the no name poem. Okay? Okay, here we go. No name poem. Poem 1 out of 10 for Valentine's Day 2019. Again. Happy Valentine's from your friend Eva Sanchez, who's here sleepy talking. Here we go. I can smell you on my skin. I can taste you off my lips. You have become part of me, and I cannot wash you off my sheets. Maybe some of you can relate. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay, here's my Spanish poem. Oh, yes. Should I read my Spanish poem? I'll read it at the end, just in case, or just because. So don't forget that you have 6 ways to follow this podcast. I am on iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spreaker, YouTube, my blog, paperdolleve.com, and my Facebook fan page, paperdolleve. And now I have a haiku for Valentine's Day. And I have talked many times about haikus are not at all my favorite poems. I don't really do haikus, but why not? So this haiku is called, are you ready? This has a name that's gonna make sure you're sitting down, because this name is gonna just give you the answer. The name of this poem is haiku. Okay, here we go. Haiku. On Valentine's Day, say I love you and share that love with all. Again, like I said, it's not just a day to feel like you're forced to go out and date your husband or wife. It's a day where you remind yourself how important love is, and just really concentrate and think about love and how you can love better and more and share your love with everybody. Everybody needs love, and most people deserve it. So, poem number 3 of this 10 poem jam is personal space. Ooh. So, I shouldn't have to do this, but I will. This poem is dedicated to mi amor, my very own love. Invade my personal space. Get too close. Come tell me what's in your head and under your clothes. I'll respect you 100%, but I will stay close. So that's just a little poem. Oh shoot, and I forgot that I also tested myself a little bit extra ending, I guess, to that poem. So, okay, let me read it again. Personal space. Invade my personal space. Get too close. Come tell me what's in your head and under your clothes. I'll respect you 100%, but I will stay close. Come into my personal space even closer. Okay, that's it. Poem 4. Love me whole. So, okay, I'll read the poem and then I'll talk about it. Love me whole. Don't love only the parts of me that are perfect. Accept me. I'll accept you. Love me whole. So, love me whole. First of all, no part of me or anybody is really perfect. But what I mean is, we tend to love what we love about somebody and then just kind of hate on what we don't love. So this poem kind of talks about acceptance. And I was going to say this in the poem, but it didn't sound right. Accepting your partner's not so perfect treats or whatever they're called will make them better. If you hate on them all the time, that will make them worse. So that's kind of where I was going with this. So here we go with poem number 5 of this 10 poem session here. Wow, I did not give it a name either. Oh, yes, I have a name. Okay, wait, let me think of the name exactly. Should I call it? Okay, poem 6. When love seems to end. Sorry about the noise. So, okay, I'm gonna read it right now. When love seems to end, it starts again in another plane of reality. Believe that your love can be strong enough to even transcend. So I think you can see as I kept on writing, these poems kind of kept on getting deeper and deeper. So I'm not going to explain that poem. That's for your soul. It'll probably understand. Poem 6. Happy Valentine's. And at this point, I was like, okay, poem 6, what should I write? Oh, yeah, Happy Valentine's, and then just go from there. So, but that's how you write 10 poems in 30 minutes. Happy Valentine's. Here we go. Happy Valentine's. Go enjoy a date with him and with friends. Celebrate today your friendships and true love. So, in your most romantic love, bring that out. But of course, like I said, Valentine's is not just about romance, it's about love in all its ways. It's also about friendships. So, be with your friends also. And like I said, it's not about being forced to go date. So, poem 7. In your eyes. In your eyes, I see the sky with its moons and many stars. Is that your soul? Somebody is already sending me something through Facebook Messenger. I'm thinking, wow, somebody else is awake. Come listen to this podcast. Is that your soul? Well, they say that the eyes are the windows to the soul. So after I wrote the poem. The poem was supposed to be just in your eyes I see the sky with its moons and many stars. And then I thought, but the eyes are the windows to the soul. So then I was like, wait, is that the soul? But of course, it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just a poem. So, poem number 8 is called Tomorrow. This is an interesting one. Today is Valentine's. You gave me candy and roses too. Romantic date and a gift to please. I thank you, dear, for that sweet gesture. But what about tomorrow? What about tomorrow? That's what I was saying. You cannot just celebrate your love today. Do go crazy today, but that will be extra. Celebrate every day, and then on Valentine you do something extra. Or you just make a big huge deal about love in general. What was that? Oh, no. Here we go. Poem number 9. Asleep. So, this poem is dedicated to mi amor. And just wait for it. Here we go. When I fall asleep, if I'm under your sheets. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna start again because I cannot finish it. Because it's listening. When I fall asleep, if I'm under your sheets, you have permission to touch when I'm fast asleep. Okay, let's move on to poem 10. And poem 10 is the best of all. I told you I kept on getting deeper and deeper. Here is the proof. Poem 10, The Worth of Valentine's. You heard that right. The worth of Valentine's. What is the worth of Valentine's? It's in your heart. All hearts combined. It's not so we spend. It's not so we date. It's not just to kiss on this one date. It is to awaken passions that are old, to make couples go to the place that they were in their heads when they very first met, to make you repeat your very first day at that same restaurant and in the bed. So this is that was poem 30. of my 30 love poem challenge, which kicked off on the 14th of January, and I'm just finishing. Like I said, I'm gonna go through again and count all the poems, make sure that I did actually write 30. I do not want to come short, or I might just write another one just for the heck of it, because I love poems. But of course, I've been thinking about life poems, and those are coming soon. I have some that I already started. I have two that are already written, and I have a most amazing poem coming. It is going to be wow. I'm not gonna tell you anymore, just that it's a life poem. If I have not finished it, so now the really big poems don't come in 2 minutes. The really big poems take a little more time and energy, and that one has, for some poems I have to go do some research or figure out some more vocabulary, or learn something new, or even figure something out, or even sometimes change my mind about something. So those poems take a while, and that is one of those poems. It's just very uh, you'll see, it's gonna be great. Right now I'm getting kind of cold and just covering myself in my bed. But oh yes, I thought that I would go to my blog and find some other poems for the people who are listening for the first time. That way I can have some more of those 30 poems. By the way, like I mentioned, these started on the 14th of January. So if you want to listen to all 30 poems, it's not all on this episode. These are just the last 10. So listen to the last however many episodes. I had some episodes have one poem, some episodes have two, some have three. So starting on poem 31 or episode 31. I'm going to my blog, and I have said before that if you want to get the whole ever experience, you kind of have to get off of this podcast, because I'm a little bit of everywhere. But I've been blogging for a while. Shoot, I cannot find it on this phone. Let me see if I can find it on my phone, even while I have this open. So let's see. I'm going to my blog because I did not have time to blog all of these poems. I blogged some of the poems that I've been podcasting about, just so that you could easily write them, but it's not that easy. So let me see. Here I have all of my podcasts. So if you do come to my blog, you'll find a lot of my podcasts. So let me see. Let me see if I can search. Okay, I cannot search. I really don't like the cell phone version, by the way. So I don't like doing anything on cell phone. It's just me. I'm old. Okay, so I think I found one. It is called Love Wins, and it's a very, very simple poem. It is part of the 30 Love Poem Challenge, which is why I'm going to be reading it right now. It must be part of another episode, but it's okay to reread it, I guess. So, this is for people who have not listened before. Love wins. Love wins over hate. Love wins over stress. Love wins every day if you let it come out and play. So do let it come out and play. Today's the perfect day to let love come out and play. Let's see if I can find one more. Oh, shoot, that one is in Spanish. Oh, but I said I will read you one in Spanish. I don't know. I'll decide later. if I were now. Another hour. Oh, this is an amazing poem. I kind of dare you to dedicate this one. And this will be the end of the poems for this show. Here we go. It says here, Valentine's 2019 Poetry Challenge. This is a blog post. Poem 3 of 30. So this is poem 3 of 30. Another hour. So I guess it was deep all along. This just varying levels. Another hour has passed, and I haven't forgotten yet your lips, their delicious taste, and their kiss upon my lips. Another hour has passed, but your touch hasn't stopped making me tingle and shake. I can still feel your hands. Another hour has passed. There will pass 100 more, but I could never forget the way you feel in my bed. And that is the end of that. So I don't have any more poems today. I kind of just want to end this for now and take a little nap, and we will talk later. Thank you for listening and enjoy your Valentines. And you already know, if you do dedicate one of my poems, to let me know which, so that I can write more like that. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy your Valentines. I will talk to you soon. This is your friend, Eva Sanchez. And do not forget, you can follow this podcast on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker, on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on my Facebook fan page called Paper Doll Eve, on my blog, paperdollleve.com. Thank you for listening, and let's talk again soon. Happy Valentine's.